go into our Wolfpack check-in. So this is where we talk all things football. Futbol. That's how you say it, with
Futbol.
an accent. So this goes from Tim's ongoing Wolves fandom journey, jumping
Mm.
onto the Wolves, to some Premier League drama, transfer rumors, heartbreak, overreactions, and everything's happening around the world of soccer. And with the World Cup, not just around the corner, pretty much here, we'll also be diving into the biggest storyline, contenders, dark horses, and what has us excited heading into the tournament. So whether your club, your national team is flying high, fighting for survival, or making questionable decisions, we've got plenty to talk about. So grab your drink and join the pack, and let's talk some football. And World Cup. World Cup is here. I think we've been
Oh yeah.
waiting so long for the World Cup to be here in the U.S. First game is officially Thursday at noon Pacific time here in Cali. We'll be watching it at noon. And like I said, there's a lot we could talk about the World Cup. I think for the first one we could go. Who do you just have winning the World Cup, Tim? Looking at all the teams, I know you've watched it a bit more. Who is like your favorite to win?
My favorite to win it all.
Mhm.
Well,
Like,
I'm going to judge this a little differently than the teams I'm rooting for. I well, I mean, I could. Germany looks good. Germany was the team I was going to go for. Of course, I'm going to root U.S. as well.
mhm,
U.S. looked very good over the weekend in the friendly as well at Soldier
they did.
Field. Great atmosphere,
Mhm.
very solid performance. But Germany, I think has a really solid chance.
Mhm.
But quite frankly, I think when it comes down to it, I think France it looks really good.
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't single anybody out, but you know what? I'll stick with Germany. I'm going to go Germany.
Germany.
I'll stick with
That's
them. I think they look
it. Okay.
good. I think that they can be a strong team here.
Yeah, Germany always has a solid squad. They have a lot of great younger players. A team that will make it. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit about it. Should be out of this group stage and probably make it pretty far into the World Cup
Yep.
tournament. But for me, my safe winner, repping them today, Spain. This is who I think
Oh
will win
yeah.
it. Have they have one of the youngest electrical players in Yamin Lamal.
Hmm.
Um, I think their squad is just probably one of the most solid overall, better squads in this tournament, and I think I just feel it. I feel it with Spain this year. Last tournament I felt it with Argentina. Even with Argentina getting started off last tournament with a loss, they still won it.
Hmm.
Um, So, and every year I've felt something. I've been pretty spot on. I think when Spain won it, I said Spain at the beginning. I think I picked Italy. I didn't pick Germany when they won or Brazil, but like I say, I'm probably like three for six, so 50%. Not bad for some choosing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's who I have predicting. I think a lot of people's favorite is France. France is always
Hmm.
just a dangerous squad. Mbappe is unstoppable in the tournament. But like I say, they've lost before. They can lose again. So we'll see. But the next one, I think what I like to always go through in my mind and play around with is dark horse. Who is that one team that probably nobody's talking about that you think could win it?
So I could be. I'm going to kind of bandwagon this one, John, and I'm not going to have a whole lot to elaborate on it. But the name was mentioned, and I was like, you know what? Why not? It's Morocco. I think that Morocco
Morocco.
seems
Hmm.
like they could be a dark horse. I am bandwagoning. This is a besides France. This was Rob's kind of like next team that he was thinking about. Um, and I'm like, you know what? I was like, wow, Morocco, and he's like, yeah, like they honestly look really solid. So I think that they have. A player that plays for Real Madrid, Diaz, and then
Hmm.
I think a good supporting cast around him.
Yeah.
Don't know a whole lot about the team, but it's a team that I'll be kind of eyeing just based off of the conversation I was having with
Okay.
them.
Yeah, no, Morocco, it was one team I was looking at
Mhm.
when it was played in Qatar. They made it to the semifinals, so they were one win away from making it to the finals.
Okay,
So it's a solid team. They have, like I say, I don't think a lot of people would have thought Morocco was gonna get through that far the tournament, but that's a country that has developed great soccer players. Diaz, the guy from PSG. I'm very bad at like in the moment coming up with names. Hakim, I think.
I think that's right.
He's on Morocco, so and he's one of the best like backs in the world. Like I say, solid defender, a guy you got to be careful with. So that's not a bad pick, And like I say, Rob knows his ball, so I like that choice.
For
Um,
sure.
for me, it's a long shot, but I don't know why. I was looking at this for quite a while, the group stages, and I was trying to figure out who will be my dark horse this year, and I am picking Turkey.
Oh
I think
wow. Okay.
Turkey is a team that if they get out of this group, they have a solid core. I think their forwards, from what I've seen and just know, getting back into really a lot more football knowledge. Um, it's a team that could compete, and they have to get through USA, Paraguay, Australia. I think they could get at least number two in that group, and make it into the tournament. And like I said, once you're in the tournament, it's not even a tournament, just in the World Cup, anything is possible.
Hmm.
Kevin Garnett's little saying, because like I mentioned, last World Cup, Qatar, you not USA, Argentina, their first game against Saudi Arabia, they lost 2-1, and it's
Hmm.
to a team that everybody thought it was an easy one. They were going to sweep, and like I said, Argentina ended up still winning the tournament, and winning the World Cup. But you know, it just takes that one game, And if
Hmm.
you I've been watching this documentary on Apple TV about Messi, and it sort of shows like the Argentina team, but it shows that game and how the coach motivated the Saudi Arabia team, and they
Okay.
came out second half and like just stopped Messi and were able to score and win. So um, there's just so much
Yeah.
that could happen in soccer, and like I said, that's why I'm so excited for the World Cup.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's stories like that, right? Like those, either, you get the individual type accolades and these names that kind of you never heard. And then they
Yeah.
somehow become a household name throughout the tournament. And it's like
Hmm.
the story. And then you find out their background, what they
Yeah.
went through to get to where they're at now. Um, and I think it's awesome. I saw a story that somebody tried to, I don't know, the internet tried to find somebody who had the least amount of followers
Oh yeah.
on a team in the tournament. Found somebody had, I think he had like 2,500 followers. I think it went all the way up to like 7 million at one
Yeah.
point. So, talk about, just even without playing a game,
Yeah.
just the popularity increase already is
Yeah.
ginormous. So yeah, it's good stuff like that. The will to kind of fight and kind of work your way out. Another
Yeah.
team that Rob mentioned that I do want to talk about a little bit was just Portugal. Obviously,
Uh,
Ronaldo's there, but then he big fanboying over there.
he's a big fan, I will say.
And he kind of threw out that team, but then he also, just for me being a complete amateur of soccer, when it comes to the Ballon d'Or, right? That is that.
Hmm.
Did I totally butcher the? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The best award in soccer, right? Individual award. And my brain is just thinking, oh, okay, yeah, it's just the last 20 years have just been either Messi or Ronaldo, and they just alternate.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how. And I know it was like that for a while,
Hmm.
but obviously there's been some other names that mix in. But Portugal has another player, right? That or is it France? That might have another player that won the Ballon d'Or, if I'm not mistaken. It's either one
For
of those teams.
for this year, or
Mm, he won a few years ago.
um, France have won it. Dembele, he won it.
Maybe.
Maybe like I think he was last year. Let me look it up.
Does he play for
Uh,
PSG?
yeah, he plays for PSG now. Yeah, Ballon d'Or
Okay.
was Dembele who won it last year.
Okay.
Uh,
My bad. It was
yeah,
late at night. Butchered the conversation that I had with him. But he said Portugal looks really good. And I think that he was saying like the supporting cast, like Ronaldo is obviously a force with that team, but might not even be like the best player at this point in time, on
yeah,
that squad. That there's just a lot to go around with them. So
yeah.
another, fun, exciting team is going to be probably Ronaldo and Messi's last World Cup, as we've discussed
Hmm.
before. So, that should be a lot of fun. But I mean, it just goes more into show like what France is capable of. If
Yeah,
arguably Mbappe might not even be the best player on the team, which is wild to say he
yeah.
probably is. But yeah, I just thought that was an award that one literally just alternated. Mbappe might have won it a year,
Yeah,
but to see other names
yeah,
are getting it, it's crazy.
yeah. Other names are getting it. Like I say, Mbappe and Mbappe fans, France fans right now may come at us, but he is an amazing player. But I think his ego is just way too high.
Mm,
I was watching a video, or it came up a clip of him subbing into a game with France, and he literally had to ask a player that was on the field for the captain armband because he needed it because he feels like well, I think he is the captain, but it's like it's a friendly game. It's nothing serious, and like, why does it matter if you're captain or not? Like I said, the goal is to win as a team, not an individual thing. And I was
hmm
like, that's just a bad look. And then it showed a few games later, he was starting, he was the captain, and they were getting ready to come out at the beginning of the game. All the players were like high fiving him. He was greeting everybody, but the guy he took the armband from, which I think was Conte, did not high five him or say anything to him. Pretty much just
mm,
whisked by him. So it's sort of like you already have a bad reputation, with Real Madrid, going from PSG, not winning any trophies, now going to Madrid, not winning anything, and PSG winning two Champions League back to back and just being one of the top teams. Like, it shows that you might be uh, a bad thing for a club. No matter how good you are, no matter how fast you are, that guy's probably the fastest guy I've seen running at times when he sprints.
hmm
But he just hasn't done it. But I will say, in the World Cup with France, he's done really well. So I think it'll be a good one. But Portugal, I like Portugal. I think that team is solid. You and Rob hit it on the dot where I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo is the best player on that team, but
hmm
there's a lot of supporting cast that I think will do so much. Ruben Diaz, Cancelo, Vitina, from PSG. There's so much there that I think it's good. Even
Yeah,
João Neves, he was playing with PSG. We saw him in the Champions League. Youngster, 21-year old,
crazy.
already a top player for Portugal. So
Hmm
um, it'll be cool to see. So, but yeah,
Yeah, no doubt.
but yeah, that's a team that I think could make it in. And if you believe in the Simpsons predictions, Simpsons are predicting Mexico, Portugal in the final. They haven't said who wins, but
Damn.
predicting Mexico, Portugal.
There's a lot that has happened that didn't come true that The Simpsons
Yeah,
has created. So
yeah,
we haven't even mentioned Mexico as a dark horse team. So I mean,
yeah,
why not at this point?
yeah,
They
yeah.
could be. Obviously, I think a lot of the chatter around Mexico is that this is one of the weaker Mexican teams that we've seen in a while,
Hmm.
right? But hey, never say never. We just talked about it.
Yeah,
Cinderella stories. Anything could happen.
yeah. Not one of the stronger Mexico teams in the last few World Cups, but still, I think the advantage they get, the U.S., Canada get, is home field advantage. Like I said, the
Hmm
fans, they're at home, they know the environment. Especially for Mexico, playing the high altitude of Estadio Azteca,
hmm
they're used to it, so they'll be solid. So I think all three of them should get out of the group, but who knows? And I think that goes into my next thing: who doesn't get out of the group? So every now and then, there's a top team. Like, it was who was it last year? I don't think it was anybody last year, but there was a year Germany won 1 year, and then 4 years later they don't even get out of the group stage. Same with Brazil, same with Spain. They win the World Cup, they come back trying to defend their reign, but they don't even make it out of the group. So who do you think might be a choking team that's like top tier that just you're like they're gonna choke this year if you just
England.
have to throw England?
England, and I'll say it right away. And in just to kind of go along with this take, the Brits are going to come after us probably. They look soft, soft.
You're going soft.
Ass team. They can't handle some Florida heat. I get it. It's humid. It's hot. They don't get that over there in the UK very often. It hits 80 degrees in the UK, and it's like, oh my God, they're going crazy and blah, blah, blah. They don't know what to do. And terrible English accent, sorry. But they're just like, they act like they can't do it. And it's like, okay, well, disadvantage already. And there's already a lot of questions that England always flops, right, when it comes to the World Cup stage. And, this big stage, they can never get it done. That team's only gotten older, right? Like a lot of their key players. I know they have young talent, don't get me wrong. But I feel like that there's a lot of, age talent on there. But yeah, soft is what I'm going to say. And I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to say England's going to flop.
Okay. That's a bold one. That's a bold one. but like I said, but that's what we're sort of here to do on Banter and sort of figure out what team that a lot of people think will make it isn't going to even get past the group stage. And I'm saying Brazil. I think this is a year there's just a lot, for me at least, there's a lot of question marks with Brazil. Them taking Neymar, of course, a big name, but I don't think he's going to do much for the team. I think there were a few other players that should have been put onto that team that would have contributed more immediately than Neymar. I think Neymar did it because he wants to match, Cristiano, Lionel, as attending so many World Cups. But I don't think he has what they need to get through. And I think that group, because like I said, I was looking at it, they have Morocco. Morocco's a dangerous team. That team, I think Morocco's, and we'll talk about groups, will probably win it. Haiti, that's a small island. I don't think they're going to do much. But Scotland, I feel like Scotland, it's their first time in so long, in so many, I can't even remember how many years from what I read. But I think they're going to come out strong, and I think they're going to surprise Brazil. And I think that's just going to be part of the group that goes on to the next round. So I have Brazil as my choker of the tournament.
I like it. Yeah, no, I think that you have a lot of good supporting elements there. We talked about it, with, they took out a player to put Neymar in, and it just drew a lot of question marks. And yeah, again, another team that, I don't know, just even their one age talent, if you want to talk about that, it just seems like they made the wrong decision. And just a team that, might not be fully prepared or have their heads in the right place, making decisions like that. So, but, Neymar's still Neymar. Don't want to go against him too much. But, yeah, I think that's a very believable one, and I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So one thing, and when we get further into the tournament, we'll look at the knockout stage. But